Good morning. I wanted to put together a quick little video, try to make it quick, on new brush hog I got. It's a 60-inch round back rotary cutter. It's driven by the PTO attachment on my tractor. Just a couple specs real fast on that actual rotary cutter. It's 60 inches wide. You can cut from 1.5 inches tall to 9 inches. It's rated for tractors with horsepower in the ranges of 20 to 50, and it works on the 540 RPM PTO. Big difference between the two 60-inch cutters are the round backs and the flat backs. We went with the round back. Two reasons. One, it was in stock and ready available when I wanted to get it. And two, reading the reviews and whatnot, folks really appreciated the round back when it came to cutting in and around trees or obstacles and whatnot. And I got a lot of that here on our farm. So we went with that, and it's true, backing around farm posts and trees and stuff, you're just able to really get a nice clean cut close to it with the round back. So this is it's made by I'll say this, Tartar Farm and Ranch Equipment. But if you're familiar with Tractor Supply and the Country line of products, that's what it is. It's from that store. The price at the store was $1,899, I believe, and the price, tax and delivery, I think the delivery was actually free, so the tax, it was just over $2,200 altogether to get it delivered to the home. And then there was just a few parts I needed to buy. You need to get some gear oil. If you don't have a grease gun, you'll need to get grease and the grease gun. There's fittings you'll have to take care of. But everything else comes with it. You're gonna need 15 16-inch ratchet, box wrench or open wrench, two decent size adjustable wrenches. And in fact, I actually used a pipe wrench because one is it's a pretty big nut. I didn't measure it, but it's over an inch in diameter, or over an inch. Didn't really like taking a crack at it with the crescent wrench. It was gonna strip it out, so strip the edges up. So I went with the pipe wrench, got a really good grip on it, and you'll be able to back that nut off that holds the pins on. But I mean, it's maybe a mallet to bang some things in, but it's pretty easy to put together. Let me go over here by the tractor, and I'm gonna just point the pins out real fast. Don't be too close. When you get it from the manufacturer, delivered or bought at the store, whatever, these components are going to be folded up. The wheel will be off, and it'll be on a stanchion hooked to the bottom. The PTO shaft will be off. This bracket, this assembly here, will be off, and it'll actually be flat to the deck. So basically all these components you got to just loosen up. Yeah, this one you actually got to take off, but adjust to get staged in this position. But it for not having an experience and having limited tools at the time, which I really did, I didn't have the proper tools at the time to do it. I was still able to get the thing out and put together in an hour, less than an hour. It's a quick disconnect. I'll show up close in a moment here, but from distance, yeah, sure, make a liar out of you. I'll show you in a second, but the quick connect, it really does make it easy. I got it up so I can't reach it, but it's a matter of just pulling 3 pins, 2 pins and a link pin, and the quick connect, and it comes right off. It's very, very simple. And I'll show you guys in a moment here, but relatively light. I don't know its actual weight, but the only counterweight that I actually needed is my bucket on the front. And that, you know, I don't feel myself popping up on the front and doing wheelies or anything. So we'll have to put this wheel on, which is pretty simple. You can adjust it through this adjustment right here. But let me bring you a little closer with the camera, and I'll point out a couple of the features up close. Okay, so we're right here at the back at the 3-point hitch. I just got done using this. It's pretty messy from my last run. But what I'll do is I'll lower the deck down here, and I'll show you how that quick disconnect works. It's pretty nice. So let's go down to about there. Oh, see, I already had the pin squeezed, so it just fell off on its own. But on mine, on my John Deere, I have a John Deere 2032R compact tractor. That little button right there is the quick release. You squeeze it from the backside. I'm not gonna be able to do this one-handed, am I? Let me be that guy. Let me try to do it one-handed. Not gonna happen. Let's do it like this. And you just get that up on there. There, crikey, and then it's on. So, relatively easy speaking. Let me pull you back here. All right, so this is the gearbox on the machine. Now, when you get this, all this will be here, but you will have to fill it with gear oil and grease the U-joints, universal joints. There's also a grease point at the front end on the wheel that'll need to be greased. I don't know if you can see in here, I'm gonna try to point it out, but this bolt right here is a shear bolt. And what happens is, I know most of you guys know this, but when this is spinning at a high rate and the blades catch and hit something, and it comes to a quick stop, instead of destroying this spindle and gearbox, this breaks. This pin just shears right off. This bolt just shears right off. And it takes that stress off off the gearbox and the spindle shaft and all that stuff. And the PTO shaft, quite frankly. So you'll have to hook that U-joint up, that PTO shaft, put that shear pin in, and load it up with gear oil. And that part will be good to go. You'll be ready for operation on that. Front end, I'll just spin right around. Actually back end, but whatever. What you got here is just a really, I don't know what they're called, rubber flap wheels, or it's just corrugated rubber to make up a really heavy duty wheel. That's what you got there. It's pretty tall wheel. I mean, 16 inches or so. It'll come assembled, but you will have to hook it up to the frame here and grease, lube it up. You should lube it up every time you use it, quite honestly. There's the assembly for the adjustment. It's just a bolt, nut and bolt. You take it out, you can raise, you know, the front end, the wheel up in the air, lower the deck, whatever you need to do. This is actually a owner's manual guide and stuff and instructions on how to put it together. And I don't recall seeing anything on taking it off. And what I'm gonna do is throw in a couple adjustable wrenches and probably a couple shear pins, maybe a small can of WD-40 if I can get it all in there. That's the most common problem you'll run into out in the field is shearing one of your shear pins. So just having those basic tools to get it up and running out in the field, to not have to come in to the yard to get fixed up is nice. So mine didn't come with these pins. I don't know if they were supposed to come or not, but it didn't come with a center linch pin, and I didn't have the those pins down there, so you may or may not have to buy those. What's nice is this is a Tractor Supply product for all intents and purposes, and everything that they sell at Tractor Supply will fit on here, pins and whatnot, so it's really nice. So, and then we're just back around to the PTO shaft. These covers, let me show you on this end. I didn't know this, and it just shows my ignorance because I've never had a bush hog before, but in the instructions I couldn't quite understand what they meant by, or how they meant to remove this shield, this dust cover. But there's 3 little holes. You'll have to pop a screwdriver into there and push those in, and the tabs on the inside release and the cover pulls off. I didn't know that. I couldn't figure it out, and I about ripped the damn thing off trying to figure it out, but lo and behold, my brain cells started firing at some point, and I figured it out. Very convenient when you got to go in there, change the shear pin, or to lube it up or anything like that. Just pop those little tabs in, that shroud slides down, and you can work on it, you know, clean it. And of course the shaft extends, I think, to almost 6 feet, 42 inches. So that's only about, not even 4 feet. Wow. Okay, regardless, it does extend, and you get a you know, a true universal shaft that you can use ideally on various sizes. Like I said, mine's a 32 horsepower tractor. I think, oh no, it's written on the other side, but anyhow, you get what your tractor's rated for, and you shouldn't have any issues with the size of the shaft or anything. So that's that in a nutshell. What I'll do now, I guess, is I'll take it over to my berry patch over here and just take a couple deep runs into the bush and show you guys, you know, what she does a little bit. You know, I got a couple other videos of me cutting the grass up here up in the pasture, so I'll probably throw those in too. But all in all, you know, I'll say this, for somebody who's looking for an entry-level bush hog and wants something new, this is a pretty good piece of equipment, I would say, for the money I paid. Yeah, it just seems rugged enough. You know, when you're putting it together, I'd suggest putting Loctite on the stuff that you're not going to adjust again. You know, with a lot of vibrations, things come loose. I did that with mine. I just went through, and even on the one adjustable piece, I put it on. I said, you know what, I could break the Loctite, but I'd rather, you prevent that hardware from falling off in the field somewhere. But it really is. I got a small, like I said, it's a small subcompact tractor. And this 5-footer is plenty for her. She does really good with it. The machine does rainy green. And so let me do that. Let me get out there and show you that. But I would strongly encourage folks to take a look at this 5-foot round back rotary cutter from Countryline. I think for the amount of money and the average property owner who doesn't have too much to do, this is the ticket. So this is kind of, a lot of what I'm working with right now. It's 2-inch or smaller vines and brambles and brush type material. The stuff that collects on the edge of your pasture and on the edge of trails, whatnot. Nothing too serious, but kind of wanted to give you guys a closer examination of this stuff. Now, of course, it does great on grass as well. You won't get a finish cut, but it cuts it, if you're looking to cut your pastures and stuff, it's awesome. So let me get up on the tractor and I'll give you a couple examples of me just mowing into this stuff and show you how she does. I hope that was a good enough example for you. It does a pretty good job of, just chopping that stuff up. And like I said, nothing in there is terribly serious, but if you've ever pushed through brambles or vines and whatnot, it's often just such a tangled mess that the machine just can't free itself up to even cut. This has the mass to push in there. When it's on top of the material, it stays down, it keeps cutting. It did mound up in the back as I got in there, but there's some dirt and stuff that slopes it. So it does great here. What I'll do, I'll set up and give you guys one more shot of me just cutting some grass so you can kind of see. One thing I did notice, it's not really a big deal. If you're cutting a lot of grass, it'll catch on the flanks of the box here, the cutting box, and every once in a while it'll just dump off a big bundle of hay, big bundle of cut grass. Not a big deal at all. If you want it gone, just hit it one more time. But I just leave them. Goats and whoever find them and they eat them up. Well, I hope this video might be of some use to somebody who's in the market and just needs a little bit of information maybe on the piece, just see if it's something they want to buy for their property or whatever. Again, I'll say it's a good little machine. It's got a cut, 5-foot cut. It's rated for a machine with the horsepower between 20 and 50. It'll cut as low as 1.5 inches, and you can set it up as high as 9 inches. Quite honestly, I think that's gonna vary on your 3-point hitch a bit and your setup. You can certainly make some adjustments and make that 9 inches a little higher. It's got the flat round back, which, and this is, I didn't get the square back, so I don't know, but in my experience, my short experience running it for about 3 days in different situations on the property, the round back does a really, really good job of getting around T-posts, getting around tree trunks, even just pushing it into that brush. It would have been a lot harder to do with the flat back. I just would have got a little bit more resistance on that flat back. With the round back, it kind of slips over some of that stuff a little easier. And the round back is typically in the stores. I found you can almost always get it day of if you go in. In my experience, I've noticed. Whereas the flat back, it was not carried in any of my stores in the Tennessee area, southeastern Tennessee area, and it was out on order and you would have to wait. So I don't know. Like I said, I just hope that it maybe gave you a little bit of idea what it's capable of. I think it's probably capable of a little bit more than what I showed you, but not much more. You saw how tall that grass was over there that I was cutting. It was above my head at some point while sitting on the tractor. There are rare instances when I'm going through a full cut, meaning the deck is completely laid over virgin grass that I'm cutting, that some of that thick grass, you gotta just slow it down, And I don't think it's so much the machine can't handle it. It's cutting it underneath, but it just can't discharge it out. You wind up with this big ball underneath, and what happens, all of a sudden the deck will bounce up over it and shoot it out the back. Just not an ideal situation, obviously. So I just found in the really, really extreme tall stuff, you just go a little bit slower. No different than if you're using a push mower, But if you got any questions or anything you might like to ask me, put them in the comments. If you got any suggestions, you may notice me doing something wrong, put those in the comments. By no means am I an expert on any of this. I'm just a average Joe trying to do average things in an average world, right? So best of luck to you in all your endeavors, and have a good day.